Well, here we are on a Wednesday night. The January thaw is underway. It will culminate Saturday with some rain, and then we'll start to turn to a colder pattern gradually, not in a big rush next week. There's some winter weather going on in the west, but overall, the weather's pretty quiet tonight across the United States, but never quiet are the two of us here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. Yippee! And of course, you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast if you shop on Amazon. Use our referral link that you'll find on the description to this podcast on YouTube. Just use that link to get you to Amazon. Do whatever shopping you were going to do. Amazon throws us a little bit of coin for sending you there, and everybody leaves happy, and it doesn't cost you one extra cent. And it accomplishes a great purpose. It keeps the live stream commercial free, which I know you folks all like. And Tempest by Weatherflow, the revolutionary Tempest weather system. Get one and join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. We've got the link pinned to the top of the chat board. You can take a look at all the wonderful electronic weather gizmos, gadgets and gizmos that they have. And the link is also on the descriptor to this podcast. And there is a new coupon code which we instituted last night, Joe Rayo.
Absolutely, and it's about time, actually. But the new coupon code is winter, not autumn, winter 2026, which will get you, should you use it, that coupon code, 10% off anything that you may want to purchase. One of those, I love that word, gizmos. Anything you want to purchase, any gizmo you want from Tempest, you'll get 10% sliced off on the price if you use that coupon code Winter 2026.
Speaking of Winter 2026, Joe, Utica, New York accomplished something that is sort of the snow version of Noah's Ark. It has snowed out of the last 40 days. It has snowed on 38, measurable snow on 38 of those days.
Good Lord.
Can you imagine that? Now,
wow.
Clearly on some of those days, it was probably a dusting, a few tenths, or a half an inch. I think they said they have over 60 inches so far for the winter season. But yes, it was almost a 40-day and 40-night excursion as far as snow is concerned. And we have somebody on the chat board tonight that asked an interesting question. Where'd he go? Oh, here he is. So this is Joseph Catch. Apologies if I mispronounce your name. I heard it's the 30th anniversary of the blizzard of '96. Well, you heard correctly. Let me ask you, Mr. Chaffee, you can say Joe, where can I move to where these kinds of snowstorms are par for the course every season? Canada? Well, I will just tell you that there's probably no place where you can go where you're going to get one of these every season, unless you go. I'm thinking if you go someplace in the mountains in the west. In the mountains in upstate New York and northern New England. And your best bet is to just go into the snow belts in north central New York or in southwestern New York, because there are winters where they don't get the lake effect stuff nearly as active as it is this season. So it's not 100% guarantee, but if you want for your best bets, I would go there.
Yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, like, for example, we know that in the Snowbelt region, the Tug Hill area of New York State, a place like Barnes Corners annually gets about, 300 or 400 inches of snow each winter.
Yeah.
So you can go there. If you're a skier, I know there aren't any, tall hills or mountains near Barnes Corners, but if you're, one of those people who like to, ski, what's the term, Joe? If when you're not
Like in those snowshoes.
Yeah, like snowshoe or ski. If you want, just ski your
If you're a
legs
winter
off or something.
sports person, how's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Adirondacks actually are pretty good for that. If you go to the Adirondacks, you can do pretty well. But again, not it's hard to say that there's any one particular spot that you can go to where you're guaranteed to get big snowfalls. Lake effect to me is probably your best bet. Even the areas around the Great Lakes, northern Michigan, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, those places get 100, 150 inches plus every winter. So you'll uh, you'll do well if that's what you want to do. I don't know. At my age, I'm not sure whether I'd want to, if I was in a younger age, maybe. But at my age now, I'm thinking no.
We're past our prime, so to speak. It's like what I tell my wife. I mean, when we were in 1985 BC, before children, Renata and I went and spent a couple of weeks out west in Arizona. We went to the Grand Canyon. We actually hiked something like 5 or 6 miles down into the Grand Canyon, and then had to hike back up the Grand Canyon again. Don't ask me to try that now. I probably will. In fact, the two of us would probably keel over before we had that opportunity. But back then, when in our younger days, sure, we could do that sort of thing. There's just some things, Joe, that we have to just file away. The things that physically that we just can't do anymore at our at our advanced age,
That's
Sonny.
right. Well, tonight we were supposed to have Storm Chaser Storm Adam Lucio, but he had to have root canal today, so he was not feeling up to it tonight. But if he's feeling up to it, he'll be with us tomorrow night. And I think Tolerus is going to be here tomorrow night too, Joe, so we can talk long range with him and get him involved in the conversation. So should be fun. We may have two guests here tomorrow night. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, Adam will be feeling better. In the meantime, there isn't a whole lot happening tonight. It's actually pretty quiet over much of the country.
We had here at the home base 44 degrees today, and I got to see my roof for the first time in about 10 days, Joe. Uh,
Oh, very
we had a
nice.
we had a 6 or 7 inch snowfall a couple of weeks back. Then we followed up with a few minor snowfalls of a third of an inch, a half an inch here and there, or whatever like that. But today, for the first time, melting occurring on my roof, and I was actually able to see a good part of my roof by the end of the day. And I'm hoping to see all of it, or at least the south, the part that faces toward the south, toward the sun, tomorrow. We've got, as you mentioned, the start of a nice little January thaw, and we're probably going to continue to see that right on through Friday and even on into Saturday as well. And one of the things that helped to get rid of some of the snow today, the fog. We woke up this morning, 9, 10 o'clock this morning, to a thick fog here where I was, and
Yeah, we had a foggy morning here too. It was pretty
and
bad.
that usually helps to, if you don't like snow or you want to get rid of snow, fog is very efficient in doing that. And indeed, that did get rid of some of the snow today. But over the next few days, we'll be looking at milder temperatures and also some rain that's coming our way too, beginning later on Friday and continuing on into Saturday and even maybe spilling over into the early part of Sunday. So get ready for that.
Yep. Um, Next week will probably turn colder, although there'll be a shot of cold air that'll come in later Sunday night, and Monday, and then just sort of relaxes a little bit, and we'll have some reinforcement forcing shots to deal with down the road. The trough is going to be coming back to the east, so it'll be interesting to see if it's just simple cold fronts that come through, or things wind up getting a little more complicated. I go back to what I've been saying about the fact that the way the weather pattern has been. It's probably highly more likely that we'll go back into a similar type pattern, which means that we've been getting these storm systems mostly coming down from the northwest and then heading into the eastern part of the United States. So some go to the north. We've had a few go to the south, and those were the snow producers. I'm not so bullish. I know a lot of people are looking at ensembles and so on, and yeah, I can sort of see that maybe something could happen the middle and latter part of next week, but I'm going to bet against it because of the fact that uh, the trend is your friend, and things tend to rhyme during a winter season as far as how storms evolve and where they go, and I don't really see. I see the upper pattern getting back to where, in a way, to some extent, the only difference this time around, Joe, is that we will have ridging in the west as opposed to troughs, located right along both coasts. Like that might make a difference, but I want to see the models do something first before I get bent out of shape over it, and I'm not quite seeing it yet.
Yeah, it's no need to. And as I've been saying time and time again, once you get past 3 or 4 days, I mean, like right now, here we are. It's the 7th day of January, a Wednesday, and a week from now, we may be looking at a significant storm threat for, let's say, it's going to happen. I'm just saying that between now and this time next week, our thinking may be altered because, again, the way the models have been running lately, once you go again past 3 or 4 days, all kinds of stuff could change or become altered, and so our thinking may also be altered as to what we may see. Let's say for Luther King Jr. Holiday coming up, not this weekend but next weekend. It's hard. It is, especially when you have such a progressive, such a fast moving pattern as we're into right now. It's even difficult for the supercomputers to catch up or to keep up with what's going on.
Yep. Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board and those of you lurking in the background. Good to see you here on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. We're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. No schedule changes to speak of. So no extra days off for us. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. If you like the show, by all means hit the like button because we like to get to 100 likes as our baseline. We feel like we've had a good night if we have get 100 likes, and we appreciate those of you who bang the like button uh, on a regular basis or even on an irregular basis. So as far as watches and warnings are concerned, we've got, again, not too much happening. There's dense fog advisories along the Gulf Coast. We also have some winter weather going on in the west, but it kind of varies by terrain and county by county. So you've got a couple of counties in northeast New Mexico and southeast Colorado under winter storm watches. You got a couple of counties in north central New Mexico and western New Mexico under winter storm warnings. There are various winter weather advisories up in parts of Colorado, Utah, Arizona, northern Nevada, Idaho. We have winter storm warnings up for the Cascades, and we still have some flood watches up in parts of coastal California, midway up from San Francisco on southward. They may gradually disappear, though, as the pattern dries out. And here's the satellite loop tonight. Nice little comma-shaped swirl there south of Nova Scotia as the latest low moves away, and probably leaving it a bit on the windy side in Maine. Still some clouds. Still some clouds up in New England. Kind of get down almost to about northern New Jersey and New York City, but there are breaks there, and then you dry out as you head down to the south to Florida. And we are seeing a little bit of subtropical moisture trying to come into the southwest, and this may eventually play out on Friday in East Texas and Louisiana, Mississippi, parts of Alabama, Tennessee, and Arkansas in the form of severe weather. And we've got a sort of a double low situation here in the east with one coming up Friday night. That's going to bring a cold front through, but that front stalls, and then a second wave goes up the west side of the Appalachians, and then we get the warm front to come back in the other direction. We get rain out of that. Then a cold front's going to pass Saturday night, early Sunday, and then after that, we get drier and we start to turn colder again.
And the question, I think, just want to look ahead. to the holiday weekend coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend, the weekend of the 16th, 17th, and 18th, is that some of the models are showing
I
what
think
looks to be
that's
an
the
Alberta.
17th, 18th, and 19th.
No, it's Friday the 16th, Saturday the
Oh, you're
17th,
right. I'm sorry.
18th, and then Monday the 19th. Yeah, all right.
All right, so Freya,
People know.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday is 17, 18, 19.
People know what we're talking about. Anyway, it looks like for that time frame, they've got some kind of a. It looks like an Alberta clipper that is going to be passing perhaps far enough to the south of our area. But then the question is, what do you do with it? The Some of the models are just saying it's going to pass freely offshore and not do much of anything. Others are trying to make maybe something out of it, maybe some kind of a coastal system. But again, none of this is going to come into focus, sharp focus, for at least another 4 or 5 days. So you can look at this and you can speculate, and some of you may ruminate and dream as to what may happen, but it's going to be a while before we have a really clear picture as to what may happen during that particular weekend coming up.
Well, precip wise, not a whole lot happening. A little bit of snow activity in northern Maine, what's left over. Then you got to go all the way down to New Mexico, where actually the radars are rather busy. It's not often that you see this part of the country with radar coverage like this, uh, and also looks like some heavy rains going on in Tucson, in Arizona, and of course in some of the elevated areas. Remember, they have winter storm warnings up for some of the areas in western New Mexico, and advisories going into Arizona. So some of this is going to play out as some snow, and we've got precipitation moving into parts of West Texas. And in the Northwest, we've got areas of rain and mountain snows in Northern California, up the coast through Washington State, and then east from there into parts of Idaho. A little bit of scattered precip in Montana and Wyoming, and a little cluster there moving through North Dakota. I should get the SPC map going here, so we'll do that. Tonight we have a marginal risk for isolated severe thunderstorms in parts of West Texas into Oklahoma, the central Oklahoma, and there's no tornado. The tornado risk is less than 2%. For the next day, well, Thursday into Friday, a larger area of marginal risk, the southern half of Missouri to Arkansas, Oklahoma, western Mississippi, and Kentucky and Tennessee. And here too, when it comes to tornado risk, actually, we do have a area of 2% tornado risk in eastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, western Mississippi, westernmost Tennessee, and southern Mizzou. And day three is where we have a busier looking risk for severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center indicating a slight risk across much of Louisiana, just about all of Mississippi, northwest Alabama, and nosing into Tennessee. The marginal risk pushing up into Kentucky. And a lot of areas in the South could use some rain, believe it or not. So they're going to get some. Actually, they got me in an inch and a half plus, which really would be nice because it's been very dry. I mean, we've had some rain, we've had rain along the way, but it's been mostly dry here, uh, going back to Christmas. And in the Northeast, we're looking at 3/4 of an inch to an inch for the rain for Friday night through Saturday night. There probably will be a short break in between, I would think, um, between the warm front going by and the cold front going by. And we have ample precip being indicated from eastern Kansas northeastward up through the Great Lakes on the order of 3/4 of an inch to an inch liquid plus. I want to see what kind of snow they're given for up there because there is going to be some. We'll probably start to see winter weather advisories and winter storms, so maybe some winter storm warnings eventually going up. This is through Saturday evening. Uh, I love this, the database from the now on the digital map. Every once in a while, it gets hiccups. So we're seeing some of the first snowfall forecasts for this area, and we're looking at some 4 to 6 inch amounts in northern Michigan, and basically a coating to a few inches everywhere else. But I suspect that some of these numbers are probably going to go up a bit to some extent. I don't think they're going to get too out of hand. And with respect to the West, since I got the map up, you can see it's a lot busier out in the West for a change. West is not, particularly in the Rockies, there hasn't been, a whole lot of snow, but Denver's actually forecast to get 4, believe it or not. And then some bigger amounts as you go into western Wyoming. You get into the double digits, also into western Montana and northern Idaho. And then in the Cascades, these are always the Cascades are always good for some big numbers, Joe. We got an 82, a 60, an 81, and a 73 print and a 56 also in the mountains that are to the west of Seattle. That's got to be weird if you're a snow lover and you live in Seattle. I mean, on the one hand, you're within short driving distance really to go if you really want to see snow. You don't have to really drive very far, but um, and just but on the other hand, if you're stuck and you don't have that option, and you're a snow lover, Seattle's not the best place to be.
No, it's not. But it's kind of like in a different way. It's kind of like living on the Big Island of Hawaii. I mean, at ground level or at sea level, you can go to a beach and have temperatures in the 70s or even the 80s. But if you really want to see snow, you can climb one of the two volcanic peaks that go up like 13, 14,000 feet. And at that altitude, certainly it's cold enough. And we mentioned this the other day, Joe, that those peaks are under blizzard warnings for heavy snowfall. And there is a place that you can stay or find shelter. That's the Mauna Kea Astronomical Observatory on the summit of Mauna Kea, Hawaii. So I mean, you'll find these contrasts in the world. And Seattle is, just a stone's throw away, as you just mentioned, from the Cascades, which receive, God, annually like hundreds of inches of snow. So if you really want to see snow, that is, you just get in the car and travel up toward the Cascades, and there you are.
So the blocking pattern in the North Atlantic is being productive snow-wise in Europe. And you can see what the upper air looks like in Europe with a deep trough from Norway and Sweden going all the way down into northwest Africa. And that trough swinging eastward with cold air. And then another big upper low that dives down, moves across Ireland, southern Ireland, and southern England, and eventually will find its way onto into the into the Netherlands and into Germany. And when we look at the uh, precip out of this, you can see a lot of blue there. Uh, that's that it actually was more yesterday and earlier today. But there's a big storm that's heading for southern England there, a 967 low with a lot of isobars and some very dark blue snow on the map here in southern Scotland and northern England. So busy there. Stormy weather from the Atlantic coming into to Western Europe. Just for laughs, let's just bring up a snow map. Hang on just a second. Let's see what we got here for total snowfall. So, yeah, look at that. There's some big numbers. I don't know exactly, right, where London is kind of in the southern part, correct?
Right.
So, but even there, they're indicated to get a little bit of snow, and there's some big amounts as you go just northeast of there. It looks like in the like 30-inch range. That just seems to be, and that's in the next 84 hours, by the way. Also in Germany, quite a bit. In Italy, and in Switzerland. Well, of course, in Switzerland and in the Alps. I want to just see on Pivotal. Just give me a moment here. Let's see if they have snow maps for Europe. Let's take a look. That's Germany, France. Now let's look at the UK. And do they have snow maps for the UK? Oh, they do. Uh, yeah, they do. They got a 10 to 1. Let's go to 10 to 1 and see what they got. Ooh, look at this. Although, all right, let me stand corrected. And those numbers are in centimeters. I forgot. But 55 centimeters, Joe, divided by 2.5. What does that come to?
55 by divided by 2.5.
Right. So what? It's like what? 20 inches, 21 inches,
22, 22.
22. And then up here in northern Scotland, 130 centimeters. So divide that by 2.5.
That would give you 52.
Nice.
That's
All right.
that's
So
that's a as the late great John Coleman used to say on Good Morning America, that's a hefty amount of snow.
a hefty, yes. Hefty is that's a good. It's not a $5 word,
Yeah,
but but it is a word. All right. So energy in the west comes eastward. Here's the first low. In Kansas tomorrow afternoon near Kansas City, running northeastward, produces a little bit of snow across Wisconsin and in the upper peninsula of Michigan. There's not a whole lot of cold air there yet. And then that low moves up into Canada. We get a cold front that comes through out of this late Friday evening with maybe a couple of showers. It doesn't look like it's going to be much with that frontal passage. And then we'll get a break. And then here comes the second low. And this is the one that really is going to be the severe weather producer come Friday, where we indicated earlier Louisiana, Mississippi, eastern Arkansas, up into Tennessee and northwest Alabama. And the low from this is going to run up into northwest Ohio. So it goes up the west side of the Appalachians. The old cold front from Friday night becomes a warm front and pushes northward. And that's where we'll probably get rain on Saturday. And then the cold front should be sliding offshore Sunday morning. Might need a little more of a push, but there is some colder air behind it that comes in for the beginning of next week. And then after that, this is where it starts to get, very obscure. Not much happens until there's another cold front that approaches on Wednesday, and you'll notice that there's some energy off the southeast coast, but it's way offshore. And then it gets probably a more significant cold for late next week, Thursday and Friday. That's when we get those thicknesses to drop off. Now, this is where do we get something that forms? You can see where the GFS has got something way out. Again, as I said earlier, I'm kind of dubious about what models may be doing. There was an odd run last night that brought a low right up as a coast hugger and had a big front end thump. And of course, on the very next run, it's gone. But I think you're going to see models kind of jumping around a little bit. And overall, we are going to be getting shots of cold air coming down once we get rid of the rest of this week and a colder pattern as we move into the second half of the month. Now, whether it comes with something or not remains to be seen because of how distorted and the pattern. When you look at the overall pattern, I think that's really a good way to describe it. It's very distorted in a lot of ways, uh, both at the surface and in the upper air. And the other thing I would just also point out to Mr. Rayo is the fact that all since November we've been dealing with this polar vortex that stretches and then briefly unstretches only to stretch again. And that's exactly what it's doing over the next 2 weeks. We're going, from unstretched to stretched next week. And then it just kind of stays in a mostly stretched position right through the 2 week period. So that would favor cold outbreaks trying to drop southward. So the more things change, the more they stay the same.
I got a chuckle out of the chat board because one person on the chat board, Robert Lomicki, is saying that at AccuWeather, Joe Reno has been promoting the potential for a big coastal system at the end of next week. And then Steve Lapointe came back and said, Bernie Rayo is another Joe Bastardi. Now, the thing is that both of them were on somewhat of the same track, but Steve Lapointe, it's Bernie Reno, and Robert Lomnicki, it's Joe Rayo, me, but it's Bernie Reno, not Joe Reno. So Joe, I often get confused. People will confuse me with Bernie Rayno over at AccuWeather is another person who used to
No,
write.
Joe. I mean, all you have to do is show your hair. I mean, for God's sake. I mean, for really, they confuse you with Bernie. Oh
Well, the
my.
name, the
No,
name.
I
Well,
understand
I
it.
know Bernie. I know Bernie Rayno does a lot of videos for AccuWeather, and yes, we do not look alike. There's nothing that is comparable with me versus Bernie Rayno. But another name that people would confuse me with sometimes used to work at the Weather Channel, Joe DeLeo. So here you got Joe
Oh,
DeLeo,
I see. Like Joe DeReo.
right? They got Joe DeLeo, Bernie Rayno, and Joe Rayo, and you know what we ought to do, Joe? We ought to get all three of us together and do like a Three Stooges kind of deal. Hello, hello,
Hello,
hello,
hello.
hello.
Yes. Scott Briller hits the tip jar. Second night in a row. Thank you, Scott. And he mentions about going to Redfield, where there was 1 year, according to Timothy Veltman, who provided the record to Scott, 384 inches for the season. That's their record up in
Wow.
up in Redfield.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean, if
so
you like to, well, you often have said that it's one of your
well,
hopes and
one of
dreams
these years, one of
to
these years.
go up into the Tug Hill area or the Snow Belt area and just get a room at a hotel and sit and watch and sit by the window and just watch as one squall after another squall after another squall comes by. Of course, I'm not going to be the one who's going to dig you out after the last snowflake departs the scene, but what the heck.
No worries. Um, I guess my biggest fear is the setting up, to go up there, and it'd have to be almost on the fly because I would hate to book something ahead of time and then it winds up being, like the thaw pattern is the week I go up there.
Right. So
So,
I've got Briller Jeopardy, and
okie
and
doke,
Scott is on the chat board.
he's there somewhere.
Well, my question is, Scott. I mean, I know you enjoy sending Joe and I the questions for Briller Jeopardy, but my God, you set my list of questions at 4:26 this morning. What are you doing up at 4:26 a.m., Scott? This is why, Joe. I've said more often than not. I said we ought to try just once to do a show at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I swear to you, people will come. and
Well, you never
and
know.
you know,
Timothy Veltman just says the record for Redfield actually is 424 and a half inches in the winter of 1996-97, which is the winter after the winter of 95-96, because down by the coast, 96-97 was a winter.
oh, it was a winter.
Yes.
Let's go to Scott's listing of questions tonight. Sent to I made a mistake. It wasn't 4:27. It was 4:32 a.m. this morning when he compiled this list and sent it out to me. Here on Briller Jeopardy is in the following 5 cities. What is the average snowfall for the merry month of January? And we'll start with Worcester. Worcester. What is the January average snowfall for Worcester, Massachusetts?
Well, Boston yesterday you said was 14. Worcester, which is actually not that far away from Boston, but they got elevation over there, and they get some, occasionally they get some weird things that happen there. I'm going to say 24.
It's a little bit too much, but we already have a winner on the chat board. And the winner tonight for Worcester is Mike Waterhouse Bonsai with 19. Although John Sack 77, you were a bit low with 13, and Adam Lowe, you were too high with 27. But 19 was the winner for Worcester, and that was again answered by Mike Waterhouse Bonsai. Oh yes, Marky D. Marky D came in with an 18. Pretty close, but no cigar.
All
Miss
right.
Spallowright also came in with 19, so I don't want to leave her out. How about the Queen City, Joe?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. There ain't anything clear to
Clean the
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yes.
Um, Eight.
Is that it? Eight?
I'm going to say eight.
Eight. Eight. There you go, Joe. You got it. Eight.
Right.
Harold Olson came close with seven, but you got it on the nose with eight. All right. So then we move over to the north. Same state, Cincinnati, same state, Ohio, but this time we're going to Cleveland, also known as the
Well,
mistake
they
on the
get
lake.
lake effect in Cleveland, uh, so it's at least a double-digit number. So I'll say, hmm. I'm sorry. What was Worcester? Um,
Worcester was 19.
19. Um, for Cleveland, I'll say 26.
You know, I understand your logic on that, but unfortunately, it doesn't work in this particular case.
Well, and the thing is, if you're in East Cleveland, you get much more than you do in West Cleveland. But okay, I don't know where the airport is exactly. I don't
Wasn't
remember
there?
where the airport is.
Am I mistaken? Didn't you have an opportunity to be a forecaster in
Yes, I
Cleveland?
did. I was actually offered a job in Cleveland and accepted it. And then at the last minute, uh, they hired somebody from the Weather Channel who became available.
Oh
It
well.
was it didn't end it didn't end well. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way.
All right. Well,
It was
Timothy
and it
Belt.
was for stupid money too.
Yeah. Stupid money? You mean like
Stupid
lots of
money,
money? Oh, okay.
like really stupid money.
Timothy Veltman, you got it with 18 inches. And the same for Frank Scalera, 18. That's for, and Paul Roman, you were just shy of that with 17. But the winner tonight for the January snow in Cleveland is 18, and those guys got it. How about the nation's capital, Joe?
Um, the nation's capital, Washington. That's not
Yeah.
going to be I'll say five. Might even be lower.
Where's the bell?
Oh, it is five.
You hit it again, Joe, with five. Rich Rothmansky also had five. 5.5 for Mark Franz, just a half an inch too much, Mark. And Teresa. I hate when they take both names and just like merge into one. Teresa De Silva, five. So there you go. Indianapolis, that's our fifth one on the list. Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Uh, I'll say eight again.
Joe, you almost hit it right on the nose for the third time tonight, but came just short of that. But Patrick Dorsey, congratulations. Same for Marky D and uh, Mag- Magnolia.
Magnolia P.
Magnolia.
Yeah,
Oh, Magnolia.
Magnolia.
Oh, Magnolia. Oh, Magnolia P.
Magnolia. It's a southern thing, Joe.
There you go.
Magnolia.
Nine. 9 inches
Nine.
for Indianapolis.
I
And
was gonna
here's the
s-
bonus.
I was gonna say
We got
nine.
we got a bonus here. Chuck Cardillo also has 9. Bonus question tonight. Average snowfall in January for Burlington.
Vermont?
No,
Or the coat factory.
Florida. Coat
Burlington.
factory. Burlington Coat Factory. Yeah, that was just a stone's throw from Somerville. No, Burlington, Vermont.
Burlington, Vermont. I don't know. 27.
Rich Morsmansky, you have 20 with a question mark. And actually, that ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. You were in snake country with that 20. Joe was way high.
Oh, I'm
Anybody
sorry.
else? I'm looking on
I'm
the.
sorry. I'm doing like 20 things at once, and I'm sorry. I'm distracted. So what did I can't even remember what I said for Burlington. What did I say?
I think you said 27.
27. And what was it? Was too high or too low?
Too high.
Too high. Um,
Rich Rutmansky was close with 20, and just as close is Frank Scalera with 22. So what does that tell you?
So that means the Bonsai and David Fuller at 21 and Mr. Lowe also at 21.
So there you go. And Davy Full, 21. 21, Steve Lapointe, 21. Everybody who said 21, you got it. 21.
21. And there you have it. All right. We got to low 60s here today. I was very happy about that.
Well, like I said, we got to about 44, and
Hmm.
we're hoping to take a run at 50 tomorrow. We're
All
hoping
right.
tomorrow will be the nicest day we've had in a good long time. I could see lots and lots of sunshine and temperatures in many areas well up in the 40s, maybe even getting above 50.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I should do well. I might get wedged over the next couple of days ahead of that next the system for Friday. Hopefully, we get into some rain because we really could use it here. Um, anyhow, trying to think if there was anything else happening. No,
On the
I did
like
hear
numbers, the like
from Miss.
numbers we the like numbers are, by the way, is a Maxwell Smart. It's an 86 right now on my
Oh,
counter.
is it? We may fall short of the 100 tonight unless they all of a sudden go crazy. I just heard from Dave Tolliver, so he was out of town, which he just messaged me. So I was trying to get him on tonight because we had to switch Adam to tomorrow. So Dave, Dave will be on tomorrow night, and assuming that Adam's root canal is not bothering him, he will be on also tomorrow night. So we'll have two guests. And yes, Tom Contino, I did actually pick up I went to Aldi's today and I got a 3 pound bag of Cara Cara oranges for $2.69. I don't remember what I paid for them, but I know they weren't expensive. But yes, I did pick up my Cara Cara oranges today. So it's funny that you should bring that up. So there. Joey, it's Cara Cara orange season. I've turned you on to Cara Caras.
Absolutely. You turned me on to Caracara when we were working together at FiOS 1.
Right. You would get all worked up about something, and I would hand you a Cara Cara orange, and I'd say, "Here, peel this."
That's and there you go.
And you never looked back.
Can you believe it, Joe, that you and I we started working together? That was 9 years ago. Where does time fly?
I don't. Well, somebody once told me this, and I think I think it's probably one of the truest statements anybody could ever say, and that is that some days feel like an eternity, and the years just fly by, and there's so much truth. I was thinking about the fact today. Because I have my three websites and all. I mean, I've been doing that now for 11 years, um, which is I'm kind of stunned by that. 11 years of doing stuff on the internet, weather-wise, and this show is, uh, I forgot when we exactly, if we dated back to when FiOS ended, because then we started doing it regularly all the time. So that was in 2019. So it's already 6 years plus that we're doing the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m.
Things just go by real fast now. I mean, in my humble opinion, as we get older, I mean, time is just flying by. Seemed like only a couple of weeks ago that my grandson was born, and now in just a few weeks he's going to be 2 years old. Joe, when you ask my grandson, when he comes here, and he'll be here tomorrow, Ron and I will be watching him. We will have stewardship of him tomorrow while mommy and daddy are working. When you ask them why are you here? Why are you here at Pop and Nana's house? Where's mommy and daddy? And you know what he says?
No.
23 months old. You know what he says? Making money. 23 months
Gee,
old. He already knows what the word money means.
I wonder where we got that from. Oh God. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, my oldest grandson was born while I was at FiOS.
Right, I remember.
And
Well,
in
actually, I don't remember. I
fact,
was off that night. I was
well,
off
and
that night, and our dear friend Addison Green filled in for you for the rest of your shift.
yes, and the thing was, and I don't know if I ever told you this, but the thing was, the thing was, I had gone in, when my daughter was having her baby, and we were right around the due date, and I had went to John Hausman, our executive producer, at FiOS in the evening, who I've known forever. I mean, we worked with him at Pix, and he was just, he's like a godfather. Because he was very instrumental in getting me over to Pix, and then to FiOS. So I told him the situation. I said, "Look, my daughter, she might have her baby. If she goes into labor while I'm here, I'm gonna probably leave early, but there'll be somebody to cover the shift." So I remember getting a phone call because my kids, my daughter was and my son-in-law, they were living in Jersey City, so the hospital was only like 15 minutes away. And of course, my daughter goes into labor right at the start of the evening rush. So there was that. I mean, she barely made it to the hospital in time because uh, her labors are are very short. So anyway, uh, they call me, and I go into to John. This was like around 6:30 or so, uh, like 6 o'clock or 6:30, and I said, "Listen, I got everything done. I pre-taped everything for the 7. I'm going to leave." And the assistant, I don't know if she was the assistant news director. I said, "Look, I went up to John. They were in the office together. I said, look, my daughter just had, she's having her baby in the hospital. I'm leaving to go." Um,
And she said, "No, you can't go."
no, but the look on her face was about to say no.
Right.
And it's a good thing she didn't, because I would have said, "I'm going." Okay. My grandchild is being born. We didn't know at the time what it was going to be. She didn't tell anybody. She didn't know. She decided not to know whether, what she was having. So, yeah, out of fear of the upper bosses, it was a simple thing. And I made it clear that the shift was covered for 10 o'clock.
Right.
Okay. So it wasn't like there was any surprise here, but that is always kind of, that honestly left a very bad taste in my mouth.
Yep.
It really did. And I never said anything about it uh,
Well, I'll
afterward.
remind you that a good friend of ours, I will not mention who it was, but a good friend of ours, his wife passed away, and we both of us wanted to attend the service or the wake. And so I asked this person, our former supervisor, I said, Joe will cover for me in the afternoon, and then I will cover for Joe at night. And her answer was short and simple: no. It didn't matter. It didn't matter that, you and I knew this person for not years, but decades, and
Right.
felt that we needed to make an appearance, just to, be there. It didn't matter. We were just told, no, you can't go. Neither one of you can go, even
What
though
did we
you
want?
both of
What did we
you.
want? So did neither of us go?
No, neither one of us went. But there was a reason for that too, and I'll remind you off air. But
Oh, okay, good. Because
yeah,
I'm trying to remember. I'm having a little bit of difficulty. Not only does time go faster, Joe, but the brain gets more and more like Jello.
yes,
You
yes.
know, or your mind feels more and more like Teflon. Nothing sticks to it. Anyway, all right, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow night at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget, we got David Tollers on Talk Long Range. We're going to have Adam Lucio on, hopefully, to talk about storm chasing and some of the issues that have come up in the storm chasing world. So I think it'll be a fun show. So we'll see you tomorrow night. Bye bye.